It's the biggest night of his political life. Barack Obama accepts the Democratic nomination in a stadium packed with supporters and tells America why he should be our next president. I'm Katie Couric, also tonight, one-on-one with Michelle Obama.
It is moving, it's powerful, it's emotional, and I still pinch myself and think, am I really a part of this?
The Gulf Coast prepares for what could be a very powerful hurricane as Gustav tears across the Caribbean. And it was 45 years ago today.
I have a dream.
Many believe the speech he made that day made this night possible.
I think he'd be as awestricken as I.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric reporting tonight from the Democratic National Convention in Denver.
Good evening, everyone. Well, same convention, new location. We are outside tonight. The Democrats have moved from the Pepsi Center to Invesco Field. This is where the Denver Broncos play, and Barack Obama is coming here to accept the Democratic nomination for President of the United States. They've put up a stage at about the 50-yard line visitor side, and the senator will stand in front of classic Greek columns that suggest the majestic buildings of our nation's capital and great orators from ancient times. Supporters have been streaming into the stadium all day long, tens of thousands of them.
Just keep moving.
Security was tight and lines were long as Invesco Field opened its doors early in the afternoon to some 80,000 people who came to witness history.
It's Obama territory!
Tickets for the standing room only event were given away online and snapped up in about a day. Scalpers were reportedly selling them for $1,000 each. By moving to Invesco, organizers hope to make a symbolic link to another candidate who accepted the Democratic nomination outside the convention hall. John F. Kennedy gave his New Frontier speech at the L.A. Coliseum in 1960.
And we stand today on the edge of a new frontier.
The goal of the Obama campaign is to open this event to more than the party faithful. The risk that tonight's speech plays as more spectacle than substance. And that is exactly the line of attack the Republicans are using in criticizing the choice of this stadium for the acceptance speech, saying it plays into Senator Obama's celebrity image. As for what the senator will say tonight, Dean Reynolds has the very latest on that. Hi, Dean.
Hi, Katie. Well, no surprise here tonight. Barack Obama will speak of the need for change. He will lay out the stark choices facing the electorate, and he will paint a sobering picture of what 4 more years of Republican rule could mean for the nation.
Gearing up for the latest speech of his life, Barack Obama paused to visit his state delegation today.
I had a speech tonight. I wanted to practice it out on you guys.
With a jam-packed stadium full of adoring fans awaiting him, Obama felt the need to explain the rock star scale.
We want to open up this convention to make sure that everybody who wants to come can join in the party and join in the effort to take America back.
Invesco Field, home of the Broncos, and rented for more than $5 million for the day, has itself become something of a political football. Republicans suggested the proper attire to go along with the decor ought to be togas.
You're going to see Obama come down from Olympus to be among us mere mortals.
On the early show, an Obama lieutenant brushed off the pot shots.
Well, it looks a lot like the backdrop President Bush had in 2004. It's a neutral backdrop.
Still, the McCain campaign has been playing head games with their rival all week.
Iran.
Releasing new ads attacking his preparedness and holding in-your-face news conferences every day right here in Denver. But in a just-released commercial directed to Obama personally, Senator McCain is breaking sharply from that partisan tone, at least for this night.
So I wanted to stop and say, congratulations. How perfect that your nomination would come on this historic day. Tomorrow we'll be back at it, but tonight, Senator, a job well done.
McCain may be sounding. His campaign clearly hopes that news of his vice presidential pick, which could leak out at any moment, will steal the headlines from Barack Obama on his big night. Katie?
Dean Reynolds. Dean, thank you. Bob Schieffer is our chief Washington correspondent and anchor of Face the Nation. Jeff Greenfield, our senior political correspondent. So, gentlemen, what does Barack Obama need to do here tonight?
I think the first thing he has to do, Katie, is let people know out in the country that he gets it, that he shares their values, he understands the problems that they're going through. That, yes, he did go to Harvard and all of that, but he might have had a hard time getting there, and he knows the problems that they're facing. If he can do that, I think it'll be good.
Little Joe Biden tonight in that speech, you think, Jeff?
You know, I really think that the effort here is going to be to take all of the strands of what Obama has been saying and weave it into a patriotic appeal, to say that what's happened for the last 8 years has been unfair and in some way un-American, and that it's not that Americans have to see him. He has to see them and articulate that.
There's been a lot of speculation today, gentlemen, that John McCain has made his choice for vice president, that it will be Tim Pawlenty, the governor, two-term governor of Minnesota, GOP governor in a very blue state, at least for now. What does he bring to the ticket?
Well, the first thing he does is he does no harm. He is the safe pick. In his heart of hearts, I think that McCain would have loved to have had Joe Lieberman, but that would just have caused a revolt on the right side of the Republican Party. So I think he may settle on the safe choice. If it's Pawlenty, it'll be the safe pick.
What about you, Jeff?
Well, the one thing that hasn't happened in decades is it actually puts a state into play. Minnesota has been very narrowly blue for the last two elections, Gore and Kerry. Second-term governor of Minnesota may marginally help, and a couple of points could switch that state into the McCain column. That's a big difference in the total outcome.
All right. Well, Dan Bartlett is a former communications director for President Bush. He's now a CBS News consultant. I guess you're the perfect person to ask about this, Dan. He's 47 years old. He's an evangelical Christian. His dad was a truck driver. Right there, those are three things that bring a positive thing to John McCain's campaign, right?
That's exactly right. If he is the pick, the first thing I detect from this pick, though, is compatibility. These two gentlemen have gotten to know each other very well over the last 18 months to 2 years. They hit it off right out of the bat. They like each other. But very important point there, Katie, in the economic uncertainty that the country is facing right now, Tim Pawlenty has shown an ability to outreach and authentically talk to blue-collar workers. That's the type of economic populism that Republicans need. This governor, 6 years in office, can bring that to the table. I think it would be a smart pick.
All right, Dan Bartlett. Dan, thank you so much. Back to you, Jeff and Bob. You know, let's do a quick status report. We all sat down and talked about what needed to be accomplished at this convention, and we came up with they needed to unify the party, give real solutions to real problems, and make Barack Obama seem like a real person, define McCain as Bush, and assure readiness to be commander-in-chief. Have they done those?
Party unity, yes. Real solutions yet to happen. Barack Obama defined himself. That's the business tonight. I think the one on McCain also needs a lot more work. They're halfway there, but they haven't yet explained. All they're saying about McCain is he's more of the same, and I don't think that's going to be enough to dissuade people.
What about readiness as commander-in-chief?
Well, Bill Clinton went to some length last night to say that he believes Barack Obama is ready.
He said the R word 3 times,
yes,
right?
Yes, he did. Republicans are going to try to make this a referendum on Barack Obama's experience or lack of. The Democrats are going to try to make it a referendum on McCain's judgment. And I think you saw that unfold last night. I give them pretty good marks of where they are so far.
All right. To be continued. Bob Schieffer, Jeff Greenfield, thank you both so much. This night is not only about a nomination, but a celebration. Byron Pitts is out among the Obama supporters. Byron, what are the people there saying about this massive venue?
Hey, Katie, I'm with some folks from the Texas delegation, and they're thrilled by being in such a large place. First, I'm going to talk with Rosie Powell from Emerald. Rosie, what do you think about being in such a huge arena? It's hot. It's crowded.
Hey, it's so befitting. No matter what the weather is, it overrides. This overrides the event that's taking place here. Whatever it is, this is just a good day for what's taking place here. This just lets us know we're supposed to be here this day.
All right, Katie. You can see in her smile these folks are excited. Back to you.
All right, Byron Pitts. Byron, thank you so much. And coming up next, she could be America's next First Lady, Michelle Obama, in a moment. Welcome back to Denver. Michelle Obama's big night here was Monday, the start of the convention, but tonight it's all about her husband. This afternoon I asked her what this moment means to her personally.
I've done 2 speeches, 2 or 3 today, and I've talked about this historic day, the 45th anniversary of Dr. King speaking at the Lincoln Memorial with his I Have a Dream speech. I mean, how amazing that these things are happening on the same night. It is moving. It's powerful. It's emotional. And I still pinch myself and think, am I really a part of this? And I'm very proud of Barack. I'm proud of the man that he is. I'm proud of the race that he's run. But I'm proud of the fact that he is always thinking about how to include regular folks in this process.
Do you worry about the people who haven't moved forward, who don't judge people by the content of their character, but by the color of their skin?
You know, change is hard for anyone, and sometimes people hold on to what they know, and they don't know whether it's right or wrong. They just know what they know. But I tend to focus on where we're going. It's that glass half full proposition. We are here today. Barack Obama is the Democratic nominee, and it happened because not just from the people who were willing to hope and were already there, but people had to come to that place. They had to sort of listen to the message and understand that the challenges that we're facing now as a nation are really transcending race and gender and sexual orientation, and they're starting to believe that we can work together around a set of shared values.
What do you think about the notion of some of Hillary Clinton's supporters going over to John McCain?
And my view is that we have to give people time to heal and to think about where they want the country to go. And I think that that's what Senator Clinton and President Clinton were saying. Think about what's at stake. Think about why you did this in the first place. Did you do it for Hillary?
What Hillary Clinton about her speech and about her husband's speech the next night?
They were both amazing. They were gracious and generous statesmen and women. And Hillary Clinton, for one, has been nothing but gracious to me throughout this entire process, being available to answer questions, giving me advice about the girls, Chelsea offering to talk to the girls. You know, that's why it's just important to know that the Clintons understand what's at stake.
How are the girls doing with all of this?
You know, they went to the aquarium today. They have been having a ball. I don't even think they know that he was officially nominated. They don't know. What's the roll call? They went to the zoo. We had a sleepover with 15 kids in my room.
Wow.
That was the first thing Malia asked me when I finished my speech. She said, "Mom, I have something important to say. We need to have a sleepover tonight." I was like, "Tonight? Can we just
Where'd you
get
find 15 kids?
Oh, we have all our friends and family. The Bidens have brought a bunch of kids. Our kids have been playing together, and we brought friends and family and cousins. So there are a ton of kids here.
So it's big fun for the girls.
They're having a ball, but they always have a ball. Wherever we are, they find a way to make fun and sort of ditch the speeches.
Michelle Obama. Michelle, thanks so much for spending time with us.
It's good to see you
Really
again.
appreciate it. Thank you. But no slumber parties tonight. Michelle Obama says she insisted her daughters clear their social schedules and be with their parents at Invesco Field tonight. Coming up next, we'll have the rest of the day's news. Deja vu in New Orleans. They're boarding up houses as a dangerous storm bears down on the Gulf Coast. Making news beyond the Democratic convention, Gustav is on the move and gathering strength in the Caribbean. Tonight, Jamaica is getting pounded with heavy rain, and Gustav is still on track to hit somewhere along the U.S. Gulf Coast early next week, possibly as a major hurricane. In New Orleans, with memories of Katrina still fresh, they're preparing for the worst. Hari Srinivasan is there.
In New Orleans, a city with so many boarded up houses from a hurricane 3 years ago, today it was time to start boarding up again.
I've got water, I've got a generator, I'm high, I'm dry. I have to get 30 foot of water to get all the way up here and get me.
The city is in full preparation mode. The Army Corps of Engineers is working furiously to close gaps in the fragile levee system, like this 600-yard stretch along an intercoastal canal weakened by Katrina's fury. At least 9 states throughout the South are already preparing for Hurricane Gustav's arrival. There are 65,000 National Guard on standby to help.
This is not the kind of situation where you want to play chicken with a storm.
Oil companies began shutting down offshore platforms and airlifting workers from the Gulf of Mexico as Gustav continues to track their way. If there is another evacuation of New Orleans, for Asa Reed and her boys, it may be their last.
I think that if it happens as bad as it did last time, I don't think we'll come back.
Hari Srinivasan, CBS News, New Orleans.
Tensions between Washington and Moscow, already strained by the invasion of Georgia, were ratcheted up today when the Russians test-fired a long-range missile with a new warhead. They have hundreds of these missiles and claim they can get through missile defense systems like the one the U.S. plans to build in Poland. Moscow views that system as a serious threat and has hinted it might take military action if it's deployed. Coming up next, his dream turns 45. Is it closer to being realized? And we're back now from the Democratic National Convention along with our senior political correspondent, Jeff Greenfield. Jeff, it's an obvious question, but we haven't talked about it all week. Why are we in Denver?
Simple electoral math. Colorado is one of 8 interior western states with 44 electoral votes. Last time John Kerry didn't get one of them. The states have been turning purple. They've got 5 Democratic governors, and the Democrats think that if they can get 4 states where Barack Obama is now competitive, it's almost over. If they can get 2 of those states, it drastically reduces the Republican margin. The Republicans are winning this 44-0. They win it 31-10. That's like winning Ohio.
And that's why the Republicans will be in St. Paul.
They almost captured Minnesota twice in 2004. Same deal. If they can get Minnesota away from the Democrats, big deal.
All right. Jeff Greenfield. Jeff, thank you. Before this night is over, by the way, an African-American will officially become the Democratic candidate for President of the United States. Who would have dreamed? One man did 45 years ago today. Here's Byron Pitts.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation.
That day, 45 years ago,
into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Big speech, big stage, and countless people who played small but important roles out of the spotlight. So, where were you exactly when Dr. King spoke?
Oh, I was, as they say, backstage. I was behind him, back in the recesses of the Lincoln Memorial itself.
71-year-old Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton was a 26-year-old law student in 1963, an activist in the movement.
To tell you the truth, I was more fascinated by the crowd than the speakers because it seemed almost inconceivable that we had succeeded in bringing this many people to Washington.
We must rise to the majestic heights.
It's a blistering hot day. People are passing out all over.
Patty and Bob Bender organized 17 buses from Newark, New Jersey, a young engaged couple, days before their wedding.
We were just in front of the reflecting pool and crowded in, but everybody, when they took out their food, they just shared food with whoever was sitting.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. It was beautiful.
Let freedom ring from the snow-capped.
Eloquence on the stage, energy in the crowd, and a palatable taste of danger in the air. This was 1963. The nation was tense. That day in D.C., security was both needed and feared.
There was tremendous fear, some from conservatives, but also from liberal supporters of the march, that there might be violence. There had never been anything like this in Washington.
Rochelle Horowitz was then a college dropout who became Director of Transportation for the March on Washington.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last!
I never heard him more inspired.
He was on his A game that day.
He was. He brought his A game, and God put his A spirit in him that day, and he spoke to the world.
And Reverend Joseph Lowery, a longtime friend of Dr. King's and co-founder of the SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. These 4 people, all part of history then, all say they will watch history being made tonight.
Barack Obama is a certain part of the dream. And then when he announced for president, I had already signed on, actually, for Hillary's campaign. And so I kept on saying to myself and to other people, you know, my head is with Hillary and my heart is with Obama.
You see some of yourself in these young people today.
45 years ago, we had a candidate. It was Freedom Now. They have a real, live, breathing candidate. It's Barack Obama. 45 years ago, we were them. 45 years later, they are us.
My poor little children will one day live in a nation.
What would your friend, Dr. King, say about this moment?
I think he'd be as awestricken as I. He'd be pleased that we moved one place he called us to go, to judge our children by the content of their character and not the color of their skin.
I have a dream today.
Byron Pitts, CBS News.
And as you can see behind me, the stadium is starting to fill up for another historic night here in Denver, Colorado. Hopefully it'll be much cooler when the sun goes down. And there's the stage. And that is the CBS Evening News. I'll be back at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific with our live coverage of Barack Obama's acceptance speech. After that, our live webcast on cbsnews.com/conventions and cnet.com, our new digital partner. I'm Katie Couric in Denver. I'll see you again soon.